Hello everybody, welcome. So in this quick tutorial video, I'm going to be giving you a little bit of background, how to set up and execute this next little project, which is called 3 of Me. As you can see here in this illustration, we have a student photograph that has been colorized and it's been manipulated quite a lot. So I'm going to give you a way of doing this. Photoshop gives you many ways of doing the same exact thing. And this is just the way that I came up with. And I find it to be one of the most straightforward ways, and hopefully you will too. So this comes from, you might notice that it's called the Warhol project here. And the reason why it's called that is because this artwork is in the style of New York-based artist Andy Warhol. So Andy Warhol is a contemporary artist, or he was a contemporary artist, should I say. He's no longer with us, who really turned the art world on its head by creating something really interesting and different with ordinary items and ordinary photographs. So, for example, this is one of his most iconic works of art. This is Marilyn Monroe. It's a black and white image that he used a process, an artistic process in order to colorize. So we've done colorization of black and white images. He did something similar, only without the use of any sort of digital media. He has these famous soup cans. There's Marilyn Monroe again. This is Elvis. He started repeating images over and over and over again to create a pattern and a mosaic out of them. And a lot of his exhibits are shown like this. Liz Taylor, here's a self-portrait, the Brillo pads, and Chairman Mao right here too. He also repeated this over and over and over again in galleries as well. So here's some other images. But the whole thing that I wanted to show you is he takes an image and he repeats it many times. So we're doing the same thing here in Photoshop. Okay, so to get started, guys, you're going to be creating a canvas that's 15 inches long by 7 inches tall. So, of course, when you go over to new file, you're going to set that up, and you're going to set it up by 15 by 7. Once you've done that, you're going to go ahead and you're going to split it up into thirds. Notice that I have 3 guides here. Now, remember, ladies and gents, to pull out your guides, you have to show your rulers first. So you'll have to go to View, Rulers, and then mouse over the ruler and pull out your guides. One guide goes at 5 inches, one goes at 10 inches. And notice that I only have 1 layer here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to import place embedded, rather, my image, my selfie. There we are. So there's my selfie that I took of myself. It's kind of boring, but I think it looks cool at the end result, which is, let's see if I can go here. This is my end result right here. I think this is a lot more interesting. And of course, this is a photo of me when I had really short hair. Okay. All right, so once this imports, I'm going to go ahead and hit the check mark, or you can hit the enter key. I'm going to resize it before I hit the check mark. So I'm going to shrink this down just a little bit. And I'm going to pull out a corner because I don't need so much of that negative space. Okay, so I want to place myself here. And of course, I'm sticking outside of these 2 guides, and that's okay to do that. Okay. The enter key. There we go. And there we are. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mask off part of this that I don't want. So this little sliver here, I don't want the sliver here. So I'm going to go and create a mask. And I'm just going to go ahead and create a little selection over this one little area. And I'm going to fill this with my foreground color because we know black conceals, white reveals. So I'm just going to go to Edit, Fill, use my foreground color, which is black. Here it goes away. I'll do the same with the other side. Fill, and OK. OK. Deselect. So there we are. I have my one image. I only need one right now because I'm going to do a little filter action on it here. So I'm going to go ahead and select my image layer, not my mask, but my image, as you can see here. So I'm going to go over to Filter, Filter Gallery. And then once you get to the Filter Gallery, I need to move this around a little bit. You're going to go over to the Sketch area, and you're going to look for Stamp. So I had black as my foreground color and white as my background color. That needs to be done beforehand before you do this. I'll point that out by hitting cancel. Here it is right here. In fact, it's not really black, it's this dark gray. So I'm going to change this to black. Hit OK. So I have black for my foreground color, white as my background color. I'm going to make sure that I have that first. Go back to Filter Gallery. Select Sketch and Stamp. There we go. Now, before you hit OK here, because this actually looks pretty good, but you might have to adjust the light and dark balance right here. The smoothness can probably stay where it's at. Mine's at about 5, and that looks pretty good. But if I move this up, it gets kind of darker. If I move it to the left, it's going to get lighter. So you're going to need to scooch this around until you get a nice balance between black and white where you get enough detail, but it's not too washed out either. So I'm going to live with that and hit OK. And there we go. Okay, cool. So now that we've done that, your next step is to get rid of the background. So notice that I have some background stuff here. I have something going along here, and I'm just going to use the eraser tool. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Pan over here, and I'm going to grab my eraser tool. I could also, if I wanted to, I can just do it on my mask. That's another way that you can work. But for this, I know that the eraser tool will work just fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to grab my eraser. Oh, actually, okay. Guess I do have to use my mask. All right, never mind. I will use my mask. Okay. So black, remember, black conceals and white reveals. So I'm using my paintbrush. I got black paint and I'm on my mask. So I can go ahead and get rid of all that stuff. I have an awfully soft brush here. So I'm going to bring up the size a little bit. There we go. And I think, hard round. I'm going to try a different brush here. This works a little bit better. Yeah. Okay. So I've gotten rid of all that stuff. And now I'm going to get rid of this bottom stuff down here. And there we go. All my stuff's gone here. So if I scroll, you can see that I don't have a background. So that's your goal too, is to have no background. Okay, next step before we start duplicating and coloring is to change our layer mode. This is really important because if you don't do this, it's not going to work right. So I'm going to select my layer and I'm going to go to my layer mode. Remember, its layer modes are up here. And I'm going to choose darken. Darken is what darken will do. That makes all the white pixels on this layer transparent. So it's sort of like having a a white piece of paper, and then we're working on a transparency with just black and transparent pixels. This will become evident in just a minute. Okay, so now that we have darkened for our layer style, we're going to go ahead and duplicate this layer twice. So I'm going to right click on the layer, choose duplicate, and do it one more time. So then we have 3 of them. Ta-da! I'm going to click on my top one here, and I'm going to scooch it on over to the left-hand side using my Move tool. Here we go. Then I'm going to click on my bottom one, scooch that one over, try to line this up so they're all in the same place. Pretty good. Okay, so now that we have our 3 layers, let's start painting. There's different ways of doing this, but one way, the best way that I've found is to do the background first. And to do that, I draw a big giant marquee box, fill it with a color, and then erase what I don't want. So I have this orange in my foreground color that I'm going to use. And I'm going to click on my middle layer here because I want to work on my middle guy here. Grab my marquee. And I'm just going to draw a box around the entire rectangle. And before I go any further, I got to create my new layer. I forgot to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my background layer because I'm going to paint on this layer here. This is super, super important. Got to remember to use a new layer on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to go to the Edit menu and choose Fill, use foreground color. And this is what happens. See how everything turns my color. Now, we don't want everything this color. We just want the background this color. So the easiest thing to do, grab that eraser tool. I'm going to go ahead and deselect my selection. Go up here, and I'm just going to erase out what I don't want. So in this case, what I don't want is all of my face and my neck. I could have a much bigger brush here, but getting the details is going to require a smaller brush. So it's best to work zoomed in like I am right here. Whoops, scooched over a little too far. And then use a smaller brush like I'm doing right here. That way you can really get your detail. And remember, you can always Control Z if you need to. And of course, I don't need my ear to be orange, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that. So notice how big I'm working. I'm working this way because it's a little bit more accurate. Now here, I totally screwed up and I went a little overboard. So you're going to want to probably hit like Control Z and do that again. All right, so now I'm going to just go ahead, grab another layer, boom, and then I'm going to select a different color. And then I'm going to draw on that for my face. So this time I have like a hot pink. Going back to my tool here, my brush, and I can paint. So basically this is the way, this is the setup. Okay, guys, good luck and hit me up if you have any questions.